All right, so we are now on to week 4. I'm joined by Koby, Caden, Dillon, Devin, and a new face, Brady Nelson, the long-awaited welcoming in for Brady Nelson. Okay, we're just gonna start it off
Oh
here.
yeah, brother.
No Josh for right now. Hopefully he'll be in here because he's got some explaining to do with some of his picks. But we're gonna start off with last week's picks. So Thursday night football, not much to talk about. Patriots looked awful. Got to see a little bit of Drake May at the end of the game. He doesn't look like anything special, but I'll let Nelson talk about that in a little bit. So the next game after that, it's one of those games where we all picked one team, one-sided. You never want to do that because exactly what happens is the other team wins, which Devin Singletary has a big game. So does Malik Neighbors. The Browns defense is not nearly as good as people are thinking that they are, I don't think. Um, Anybody got anything to say about that game?
Go Amari Cooper, rebound game.
Yeah, there was really not much that happened. There was some speculation about Devin Singletary knowing his betting lines or whatever, or knowing the over under of the game and stopping at the 1 yard line, but that's just what you do to win the game. He was on my bench. I don't know why he stopped at the one to try to win the game. He should have just ran in, up 2 scores then. Anyway, so Eagles Saints. Probably the Saints, I think, led most of this game. It was a very low scoring game. But Caden, I need to hear your thoughts on Nick Sirianni on this one.
What a clown. It's reflected in his players too. I don't know if any of you saw the bonus coverage of that, but I just turned on that game at the end of the game when the Eagles were taking knees and Jalen Carter is just acting like a fool on the sideline. Sirianni's doing nothing about it until finally he walks over there. I'm like, yeah, it's the most classic Sirianni Eagles thing ever. Saquon had 17 touches, which is probably a good number because you want to give him the ball, but you don't want to overfeed him every week or he's not going to last. So I like him sitting around 17 touches a game. I think that's a good number for them to target on a weekly basis.
Yeah, Jalen Carter also, I've hated him ever since he was in college, but I really hated him week 1 when he was the one that folded up on Jordan Love's knee. But that's besides the point. I don't think anybody in here is a big Sirianni fan, and I don't know how you could be. The next game was probably the surprise of the week with the most surprising team so far this season. Dylan, I know you're pretty happy as a Vikings fan. What'd that game make you feel?
It didn't really feel real. I mean, CJ Stroud was like, that's the worst I've seen him play in 2 years. The Vikings defense is flying around. It was, Darnold looks great, which I went into the season with no expectations, expecting just a horrible season and hoping that we could keep Jefferson happy to keep him around. But yeah, this season's going completely different than I thought. And Vikings look legit. Like I don't want to be that unrealistic Vikings fan. Like I'm not gonna say they're gonna go win the Super Bowl or make the NFC Championship, but they look like they could be a playoff team, which is once again, I don't know if any of us as Vikings fans expected this or any football fan expected it. So I guess we believe in Darnold now.
I'm expecting the inevitable collapse, though. I think
Yeah.
you are too. But
Oh yeah.
um,
I think defense is good enough. The defense is real. The defense is good enough that they'll at least be able to win a handful of games from that standpoint. It'll all come down to Darnold collapses, but Darnold is the fucking arm, and KLC literally put his brain inside his brain, so should be all right.
yeah, Kevin O'Connell and Flores looks pretty good on the defensive side of it. Also, does anybody remember my hot take from week 1 for the season? Not the Caleb Williams one, because that's clearly not a hot take,
What
but the CJ Stroud one. I'm
no,
just saying.
what
It,
was it?
he, it was something to do with how he's going to have a sophomore slump and not nearly play as what he was. Something about like,
One bad game against a
yeah, not just one
greedy
bad
against
game.
the league.
It hasn't been just one bad game. He played like garbage against the Bears as
Well,
well.
I will
And
say, dude,
week 1, he was playing the Colts defense, who's the worst defense in the league right now.
they paid Laramie Tunsil all of that money, and watching that full game on Sunday, that dude was straight trash. selfish. There was a 3rd and 4 that Laramie Tunzel himself created to be a 3rd and 19, just off false starts and illegal formations. Yeah, it's crazy.
Like I said, though, it's tough that his name's not Jawan Taylor. Otherwise, he'd be getting away with that every single play.
True.
So then the next game, also another surprise of the week. Everyone went Tampa Bay, which, like I said, when everybody goes one way, the opposite thing happens. Just like in a later game, also with the 49ers choking. So, Devin, I know you're a big Buccaneers believer. So, let's hear your thoughts on what you saw go down with Bo Nix and Baker Mayfield.
Yeah. All of us picking them kind of cursed us, the MozPod curse, I guess. But yeah, Denver made Tampa Bay's offense look horrible. I mean, they couldn't move the ball until the fourth quarter, and it was already too late. And then Tampa Bay's defense, I know, has kind of been struggling with injuries at the beginning of the year, but Bo Nix completely torched us, so it was embarrassing.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield had like no time to throw the ball at all
Yeah,
that game.
I think he got sacked like 7 times, which is insane.
Which reminds me of the next game. Will Levis having an absolute day in hell in Nashville against the Packers. Got sacked 8 times, fumbled it through either 1 or 2 picks. I can't remember. Oh, it was 2. And Koby, I know you're a big Will Levis guy.
I fucking hate Will Levis. I will ride and die on that because he is horrible. Honestly, they could probably throw anybody else back there. And, is it too late to call Ryan Tannehill and get him back?
No, dude, the Titans have a good thing going with Will Levis right now. He's going to walk them right to that first overall pick, and they can draft Carson Beck or Quinn Ewers or whoever they want. Keep riding it. It's a good thing they got going.
But will they have him any weapons? Because DeAndre Hopkins, ghost, just not good anymore. Calvin Ridley is so hit or miss.
They shipped off Derrick Henry.
I did not expect a Joey Poppins appearance on this pod, but I'm glad we did.
But also, by the way, the backup quarterback for the Titans is Mason Rudolph. Does anybody want to see that man play?
No, he's even worse than stupid Will Levis.
Well,
Go Poke shutout for Mason Rudolph. So then, the next game. All right, I'm just going to start this off by saying, Caleb Williams, you are garbage. Like I've said every single week, you are garbage. You played the worst defense so far in the league this year, and you still turned the ball over 3 times. Whatever that goal line play was, too, to DeAndre Swift, that had to be like, yes, that was the offensive line, I'll admit, but that had to be the worst play call I've ever seen on the 1 yard line. Goes for negative 10 yards. And I'm just saying, when are we going to stop babying and coddling Caleb Williams and make him seem like he's actually a grown-ass man? Because he is. I mean, come on. How many excuses can you make for the guy? He's played like straight garbage. He has played like garbage. And I know that there's plenty of people out there, even in this chat right here, Caden Hunsley, go and defend him up and down. And first of all, this isn't even bias speaking, because like you as a Vikings fan, I know that you want him to be garbage. As a Packers fan, I want him to be garbage. But as an NFL fan, I can see that he is garbage. I mean, the dude has not done anything that's impressed me yet. He'll go and take one hit in a game, and as soon as he gets hit first, oh, he's frantic around the pocket the rest of the game. Or he's making stupid plays, stupid turnovers, not finding DJ Moore, who's one of the most underrated receivers in the league. He should have Keenan Allen back this week. So, maybe he'll be able to do something against the Rams secondary. But if you can't do anything against the Colts defense, I don't think you're going to do anything against the Rams. So, Caden, the floor is yours on that one.
No, I'll just say, Tim, everything you said, there's nothing really wrong with what you said. He has been pretty garbage up until now. The only thing I'll say is if you're the Bears and you're a fan of them, or if you're the owner of that team, how can you look at your coaching staff and see, or if you're their coaches, like the Packers just ran all over the Colts the previous week and you throw the ball 51 times with the rookie QB? That's ridiculous. Run the ball, especially after you paid DeAndre Swift that money. And then if you're the Bears, how can you look at your coaches look at the other coaches in your division and be like, wow, those other three head coaches, the bar, they're so high above us. We got to get this guy out of the door immediately. You got KOC and Matt LaFleur, who are two of the best schemers in the league on offense, offensive mind, brilliant. And then Dan Campbell, maybe not necessarily a schemer, but just one of the better culture builders in the NFL. I mean, you're just with Matt Eberflus, who, what does he do? I don't even know.
Lose games.
He does worse than nothing for you.
That's a fair point. I mean, you saw the tape from the Packers game. Josh Jacobs had over 130 some yards from scrimmage in the first quarter against them. I mean,
Yeah.
doesn't make much sense. Nelson, do you have anything to add to this, or do you want to speak when you talk about their Week 4 game?
I'll save it for the Week 4 game. I think
Okay,
that
sounds good.
not much more we can pile on that shit show they put out on the field this last week.
That's valid. All right, so then Chargers, Steelers, talking about a former Bears QB, Justin Fields, you could argue that he just needed out of that system, or you could say, I don't know, maybe he has better weapons in Pittsburgh, but I don't know, better run game maybe. His receivers are not better. Um, let's see. Mostly everyone went the Chargers here. Yeah, everyone in here went Chargers. Nobody so I don't know. Anyone have anything to add to that?
Can I just say that Russell Wilson being named as their starter should have been enough to get one of the most unfireable head coaches in Mike Tomlin fired. Like, I don't know. To have him named as your starter week 1, and this is, I would say the same thing if the Bears were 0-3 with Justin Fields. There's just no upside to it whatsoever. And for him to try to roll out freaking Russell Wilson out there with the Steelers is just disgusting to me. So I'm glad that he was injured and we actually get to see Justin Fields get a second chance because he has so much more upside than Russ has.
Yeah, you saw the videos of Justin Fields in OTAs and training camp. You did not expect him to be the quarterback that he's been to this point, but Mike Tomlin, I just can't stand the Steelers every year. I feel like they're a waste of a playoff spot, but it's looking like they're going to be like that again. Maybe they are legit though. I don't know. It's hard to
That
say.
defense is legit, but that's about it.
Defense is legit. I don't believe in the offense still though.
No, that offense hasn't been good since 2017.
All right, so then the next game, Seahawks and Dolphins. There's really not anything to say on this game, I feel like. I mean, Skylar Thompson looks terrible for the Dolphins. Tua also looked terrible, though, so I'm not going to back down from my words about Skylar Thompson over Tua.
Who looks worse?
Yeah, Tua might look worse. Tua's on the sideline right now, rotting away. So, whatever. So then the surprise of the week, the only person that picked the Panthers is the Panthers fan. So I said something last week about how I could see an upset just because Andy Dalton's going to prove to everybody that he's still good, even though I hate Andy Dalton or I hated him in his Bengals days because I had AJ Green on fantasy every single year and so yeah, the Raiders come out and beat the Ravens in a great comeback game and then just absolutely play like garbage against the Panthers, but the Panthers offense just looked unstoppable in that game. I mean, when you have Chuba Hubbard scoring 28 fantasy points and Deontay Johnson finally finding the end zone, I don't know. You have issues. And Miles Sanders getting a rushing touchdown, you definitely have issues on your defense if you're allowing that to happen. And I'm just going to say, scoregami watch on this game. I was so hyped because we were about to get that 36-23 scoregami. And the Raiders elected to kick the extra point instead of going for 2 late in the 4th. So that made me very upset. Dylan, I know it upset you as well.
Yeah, I was pretty upset. It got me.
Okay, so surprising game into a blown game. So we all went with the Niners. The Niners looked like they were going to win the game for the longest time in that. And they just blew it at the very end. Jawan Jennings with 3 touchdowns in that game. And Brandon Ayuk was kind of a no-show. So Nelson, I'm going to ask you your thoughts on this game.
I can't say that I watched a whole lot of this game. I was not not big on any of the afternoon games, but I think Purdy is kind of showing that he doesn't need to have all his allotment of weapons to have a successful game. Granted, missed kick, defense couldn't hold out Stafford and a JV receiver core, so tough break for them to lose. But at least Purdy's proving that he can actually play at a high level without 7 All Pros on his team.
Can we just talk about Purdy's draft class too and the quarterbacks that were selected over him? My God, that's pretty bad. So then what a lot of people thought was going to be game of the week. I didn't watch much of this game, but I think it was just solidified that the Lions have the best backfield or the best 1-2 punch in the league with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. They ended up beating the Cardinals. Very low scoring game in this one. Pretty decent defense played, surprisingly.
Cardinals had those black unis this week.
Yeah,
Those
they
are
had the
sick.
black unis, and I've heard that the Lions are wearing their black alternates on Monday Night Football this week. So
Oh, I think I saw a picture of those. Those are actually really cool.
yeah, they're fire. Not much to speak on that game. I don't think Josh was in here. I'd make him talk about Kyler Murray and the Cardinals because that's his NFL comparison quarterback besides Bryce Young. But um,
You're saying it's a combination of Kyler Murray and Bryce Young?
oh yeah, I did. Anyway, he can't
5'2"?
see over his line. He can't see over Austin Losant. Are you kidding me?
Austin Losan didn't go to DSU.
Well, I'm not talking. I'm talking high school right now.
Okay.
We're opening up the yearbook again.
Damn.
So
Austin Losan mentioned.
yeah, over under. Who took the over on that? All right. So Ravens and Dallas. I'm just gonna say it. Dallas or not Dallas. Baltimore.
Dallas sucks.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, the big D is down bad right now.
Baltimore, look what happens when you actually use Derrick Henry the way that you should. 25 carries, 151 yards. I know you guys just love me cocking off about Derrick Henry all the time, but it's true. You know, they didn't use him the first couple weeks and they didn't do anything on offense, and now they actually use him. Lamar looked like a good he had a really good game as well. Ravens
Mark
almost
Andrews,
in the fourth quarter,
inexistent.
though.
Mark
Yeah.
Andrews, the best left tackle in the league.
Yeah, Mark Andrews and Travis Kelce both. You know, it's not like it's 2017 anymore. Let's hang it up. You guys aren't the top
Hey,
tight ends in the league anymore.
no Mark Andrews slander in the MozPod, okay?
I'm just saying, Dallas Goddard
Let's slow down on the Mark Andrews slander.
Dallas Goddard would
I'll
like a word.
second that.
Best tight end, you know, best tight
Get him
end.
out of get him out of Baltimore and get him a QB that throw him the ball. Mark Andrews still 1,000-yard tight end.
Maybe you might be right, but then we're gonna go on to the Sunday night football game, which once again ended in controversy. When does a
Fuck
Chiefs
the Chiefs.
when
What a
does a
great
Chiefs
game.
game not end in controversy? Um, Kyle Pitts easily callable interference in the end zone. They don't call anything. Caden, I know you're a big Kirk Cousins guy and a big Chiefs guy, so let's hear what your thoughts were.
Yeah, I got a little nugget for you here. So remember when we were all bitching about that wild 4th-and-inches play call that the Falcons ran under 2 minutes and they didn't get to lose the game or whatever. So I was listening to some pod today. Was it Chase? Fuck, I don't know. I listen to like 10 different pods at work every day. Anyways, just doing a film breakdown of that game and Kirk Cousins play. And if you actually pay attention and look, that was a QB sneak. Kirk Cousins audibled out of it to run whatever bullshit that was. Yeah, that's classic Kirk Cousins. He doesn't want to have the fate of the game in his hands as the franchise QB. He can't run QB sneaks. His pussy probably was hurting too much to try and go man up and get a few inches. But yeah, not surprising after I heard the explanation that it was just Kirk Cousins audibling and not incompetent coaching. Yeah, no one expected Kirk Cousins to go win that drive, even though he did it against the defense. He was playing a team that had actual coaches, so not surprising.
So
It's got to
did
be my favorite take all year.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins, man, pussy.
Did anybody notice that the Falcons could have? Well, I mean, you're not thinking about this in this scenario when it's like 4th-and-1 or 4th-and-inches. But if they would have kicked the field goal, they got the ball back in that game and could have brought out Young Wei Koo to kick that game-winning field goal because it was 22-17 which would have made it 22-20, and then they could have kicked a field goal, but I don't know.
It was,
In that
yeah.
scenario,
Yeah.
it's
I
hard
do
to keep the defense
going
gonna
for
get
it though,
stopped.
because if they would have kicked field goal, we probably would have all been bitching. At the moment, you have to go for it. So
That's fair.
Well, if they kick a field goal, it gets to third down, and the Chiefs get another bogus ass flag to give them a first down to end the game anyway. So we're complaining.
Yeah,
It
probably
becomes a non-issue then.
great take, Nelson.
that is a great take from Brady Nelson. Look at that. His great takes is already up to 1, and he's only been on 1 episode. All right. So the next one, not much to talk about other than Josh Allen is the front runner for MVP. Him and Sam Darnold, I guess. So you can have those two names, but like Josh Allen, Sam Darnold, I'm not moving my camera for that. So, you know, Josh Allen has no weapons, and yet, he still continues to prove that he's the best quarterback in the league. The Jaguars also look like garbage. Trevor Lawrence looks like garbage. Kobe, I
He
know
is garbage.
Kobe's a big fan of the the AFC South quarterbacks.
No, not at all. That's,
Who's gonna
if I
have a
had to
better
pick
career, Caleb Williams or Trevor Lawrence?
Well, Trevor Lawrence did make the playoffs once, I guess.
Equally as terrible.
I mean, Trevor Lawrence arguably has the worst contract in football now that he's gotten that.
Deshaun Watson
50-some
does
million.
exist.
Yeah, but that one's almost over.
It's bad. It's all bad.
It's bad, but it's not new. The ink's been at least dry on that one for a couple of years.
At
Who
least
does
they-
have the worst one?
Browns
Is it Deshaun
maybe.
Watson, Trevor Lawrence, Daniel Jones,
I'd throw Kirk in there.
I would throw Kirk in there.
Kirk up there? Wow.
Tua's got to be in there.
The Kirk slander. I'd say it's Tua, honestly.
Kyler Murray's also like top 5 in contract too. So
Woof.
So then Monday Night Football, the second game. Thank God for that game because the Monday night slate would have been terrible otherwise. Chris is the only one that picked the Commanders. Let's see. Bengals. Joe Burrow.
they're horrible.
Is this where Caden and Brady get in a debate about Joe Burrow?
It doesn't need to be.
He's waved the white flag. This
Yeah.
tonight.
Joe Burrow is just riding off that I beat the Chiefs that one time. Good for you, bud. As of right now, I know you more for your cute little outfits that make me question your sexual orientation more than winning football games. That's all I need to say.
yeah.
I mean, in Burrow's defense, he's the only one that has beat Mahomes in the biggest spot that's still in the league. No one else other than Tom Brady can say they've topped Mahomes in the playoffs.
Yeah, but it's not like you
Remember-
went on.
Remember when Tom Brady did beat Mahomes in the playoffs and it was because of that BS flag? Wow, how the turns
Typical Tom Brady fashion with the
The
BS.
baton was passed.
Yeah,
You know,
the baton really was passed on that one.
you guys are going back in the past too far. You got to think of their last playoff matchup where
Yeah,
Tom
Nelson
beat the shit out of him in the Super Bowl.
where he got pounded on that Sunday night.
One of the top plays of Mahomes' career should have been that diving pick that he almost threw.
All right, well, instead of talking about Burrow, we should probably talk about Jaden Daniels and how besides Joe Alt, he should be the front runner for Rookie of the Year, which
Hey, love the throwing out the offensive lineman.
I don't think that they would ever actually give it to an offensive lineman, but he's been pretty solid.
Yep.
Well, I sure hope when you're like 6'9" and just a massive human.
And you come out of Notre Dame.
Yeah. They just breed offensive linemen.
Yeah.
God on his side.
Don't think we need to talk about Notre Dame there, but whatever. So, all
If we're
right.
talking about
No, I don't know if they do. Maybe I'll send it to them if Lurs and Tom watch this. We'll have a reference tomorrow morning.
All right, so then take a look at the standings here. Not sure why the font's messed up on it, but okay, I'm still in the lead. Chris has gained some momentum in second. Dylan, Case, and Jose tied for third. Brady fourth. Mekel, and then Devin, Josh, and Caden, and then Kobe at the bottom. So one thing I want to ask here is Devin and Kobe with those 4-12 and 5-11 records on the week.
Yeah, it was a rough week last week.
Yeah, it was not the best week, but some of them games could have definitely gone the other way and, helped that record a little bit. But you ride or die, win some, you lose some. It's okay.
My gambling side kicked in last week. I'm not gonna let it happen again.
I will reference I am the only one left in the survival pick 'em here.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
So we got
Good cop out.
Everybody's out of the survival but Kobe. So, when it really matters, he knows what he's doing.
That's right.
And congrats, you got 3 games right.
Hey, Nelson. That's better than a lot of you. A lot of you guys didn't get the first game right.
Yeah, I don't know why the hell I picked Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Love the shots that Nelson's taking already. All right, so Thursday night football, probably one of the worst Thursday night games that we have seen, that we'll probably see this season. I think the NFL executives probably get by week 4, it's like, oh, we don't need to entertain people on Thursday night football anymore. So they throw out the Cowboys and Giants, which I'm currently doing a Madden sim of that game. The Giants are up 28-24, if anybody cares.
Surprising.
No one asked.
Well, nobody asked the Giants to win this game either because we're all riding with the Cowboys. So, lo and behold, don't be surprised if the Giants win on Thursday night football at MetLife Stadium. So, then the next game, I was hoping Josh would be on at this point, but I'm just going to say what he told me. He's going with the Panthers, and he's just like, well, that's the Red Rifle going back and playing his old team. Well, guess what? It's been a few years. Who cares? Who cares? The Bengals know that they need to win now at this point. I mean, they're 0-3 and they should not be 0-3, but I don't know. I think the Panthers was more of, yes, like obviously they should start Andy Dalton from here on out because he's the only glimmer of hope that they have, which is really bad if Andy Dalton's your glimmer of hope. But yeah, I don't know. Does anybody see any chance for the Panthers in this game, or are we going all Bengals?
There's always a chance when you have Andy Dalton on the Panthers. His last 2 games, he's thrown over 200 yards or over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns in both games. So, there's that small chance.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like the Bengals they know what they need to win now. And if it was a home game, I would definitely be super confident in the Bengals winning this, but it is on the road. Don't think Bank of America Stadium's a super hard stadium to win in, but
It's a lot harder to win in now that Bryce Young's not under center. I'm glad Andy Dalton could prove to everyone that that offense isn't a problem, and he was.
Who would have thought? He likes Andy Dalton better than he likes Bryce Young. Wow.
Valid, though. Nelson with good points. Yep. So
Blazing Brock Purdy earlier.
Yeah. Don't forget about
Joe
that.
Burrow. What
Tom Brady mentioned.
Simon Nelson.
Anyway, we're skipping past that. Anyway, we got an NFC South matchup after that. The Saints at the Falcons. Devin, you were the only one that went to Saints here.
Yeah, then this game was kind of hard to choose because I think Saints last week, of course, the offense wasn't as explosive, but I think they'll pick it back up this week. Falcons, I picked them, I think, the first 3 weeks, and then 1 and 2. I think Kirk Cousins, I mean, what Caden was saying earlier, he don't like making decisions, and I think this is gonna be one of those games where you have to make a decision down the line, and he's gonna make the wrong one and probably throw interception, or they're gonna turn the ball over. So
this might be that classic NFC South game that goes into OT. I could definitely see a battle of the kickers in OT. Caden, you got anything to add about Kirk Cousins? We always love to hear your input on him.
No, just noon kickoff at home. It's the type of shit he lives for. Bounce that big game.
Straight off church, Pizza Ranch run, hitting the gridiron. What a day for the family.
My job done by 3 to 6 points.
It's a fair point. All right, so then next game, Houston and Jacksonville. Houston's looked bad the last 2 weeks, but if any team has looked worse, it's been Jacksonville. And I don't know, this is probably a bounce back game for Houston in this one.
Houston might get Joe Mixon back this week, so might help out the offense.
That's a good point because they have not been able to run the ball. I mean, they got Cam Akers running the ball. It's pretty tough. Um, Not much to mention in that game, I feel like. So we'll move on to another game that has nothing to mention in it. The Broncos and Jets. I almost picked the Broncos low key because I haven't been very impressed with the Jets, but the Jets are also coming off like 9, 10 days rest for this game because they played on Thursday and they're at MetLife. Um, and I don't know, that Bo Nix game, I think that was a fluke. I still think he's garbage, so I don't know. We all went to Jets, so maybe that means the Broncos will win it.
Yeah, I want to ask Nelson his early thoughts on Bo Nix as a QB.
Uh, he sucks. I don't know why the Broncos would burn a top 12 pick in the draft on him.
And then mock the Vikings for it or pretend that
Yeah,
they Sean Payton, such a piece of shit. He can kick rocks, dude. I hate him.
Someone's still
Yeah,
salty
he
from
does
when
have that movie made about him, though.
Yeah, and it's Kevin James.
Yeah.
Bro, that makes
Isn't that a
no-
Netflix original or something too?
Did Kevin James take Ozempic before it? Like, how's he supposed to
Champagne.
All Blart to Sean
Mall
Payton.
cop, that's right.
Yeah, that's tough.
What can he do?
So then, all right, this is the game that's going to divide us this week. Vikings and Packers. Now, as much as I want the Packers to win this, which I don't know, I've picked the Vikings to lose all 3 weeks, so I'm thinking picking them to win might, revert that. But I'm just kind of like it depends on if Jordan Love plays. It's not even that really. I just don't want the Packers to play Jordan Love at all because Malik Willis, if you saw him the last 2 weeks, he's looked really good. He looks like he's like a 10-year veteran out there with some of his decision making. Um, I'm gonna go the Vikings just because, they're 3-0. They beat two good solid teams now, so I really can't just keep like picking them to lose. And I figure the Packers and Vikings are going to split on the season like they usually do anyway. So that's why I picked the Vikings. Um, Kobe, as a Packers fan, you also picked the Vikings.
Yeah, I don't know. Malik Willis looked really good, but he hasn't seen a defense like the Vikings have been thrown out there. So this will be the true test. Again, I hope my Packers win, but that defense is tough and it's going to be a tough test and we can't just hand the ball off. But Willis has made some capable throws out there and looked pretty solid. So let's hope he balls out and we pull it out.
Caden, you got you got anything to say on this? Because I see Packers.
Yeah, I went with the Packers just because I figured. I mean, these games are always just a coin flip. It feels like, and it being at Lambeau, always seems to slow the Vikings down a bit. No, I think it's going to be a hell of a game to watch. I think it'll be fun. I think if you're a Vikings or a Packers fan, you should be excited just to sit back and watch this game. Even if you're an NFL fan, just to watch the coaching matchups on both sides of the ball. I truly believe Kevin O'Connell and Matt LaFleur are two of the top 5 offensive mind play callers in the NFL. So Matt LaFleur going against Flores, that'll be a lot of fun. Watching KOC going against that Packers defense will be a lot of fun. And honestly, question for you and Kobe, Tim. If you're the Packers, I think what we've seen from the Vikings defense and specifically from Flores and all these blitzing packages is if you let the Vikings get up and you have to, if you're Jordan Love coming off an injury, you have to sit back in the pocket and just drop back and be immobile, which you probably would be for 40 snaps a game. I don't really think you want the face of your franchise to have to face that this week. And I do think with Malik Willis in there, the element he brings with his legs and their dynamic run game could keep the Flores defense and blitzing off balance a little bit. So honestly, just from like a health standpoint and even a little bit of a schematic standpoint, do you want Malik Willis starting over Jordan Love? Maybe. I don't know. What do you
I
guys?
would this week.
This week, 100%. I think the Packers shouldn't bring Jordan Love back until either that Arizona game or the Houston game because they play the Rams next week and then it's Arizona, then Houston. I wouldn't bring him back until one of those two teams. Malik Willis, through the noon games last week was like third in rushing with like 79 yards. I mean, that dude was able to escape pretty much everything, and like it was literally his second start of the season. And the thing is that he has already played his opener at Lambeau Field and he got the win against the Colts, so he's not going to have those jitters for, first home game. I do think it's fortunate for the Packers that they're not playing in Minneapolis for this game, just
Well,
because
yeah.
Malik would, he'd be back there probably shitting bricks the entire game because that is a hard stadium to win in.
And the way that the Vikings defense is designed, yeah, everyone made a huge deal that they lost to Neil Hunter in the offseason, which don't get me wrong, was out of all these defensive guys, he is the best overall individual player, but because they got his and Kirk's salary off the books, they were able to sign Blake Cashman, Van Ginkel, Jonathan Grenard, and then draft Dallas Turner 15th overall, which all those guys they're very fast, but they're also very small. So it would be interesting just to see how the Vikings defense would handle a team lining up and saying we're just going to run it 40 plus times a game, and we have a quarterback who can run as well. Because those guys are small, and they're definitely suited more for blitzing and pass coverage than a team just running the ball down their throat.
If they do use Jordan Love or Malik Willis, I think one thing the Packers have to do is give the ball to Emmanuel Wilson more, because
He gives us more of that burst.
yeah, he's a super easy player to dump the ball off to at the line and just get him a burst compared to Josh Jacobs, who's, running through defenders trying to get those hard-earned yards. Emmanuel Wilson, I don't know, he's a great pass catching back. He's super underrated in my opinion. So,
yeah, should be a fun game. Should be really fun to watch.
And going back to bringing Jordan Love back, I mean, it's not like we're 0-3, we're 2-1. So,
right.
I mean, I wouldn't panic yet with Jordan Love. So let him get healed up and need him more for the end of the season run.
Yeah, Malik has done his job. That's all he was asked to come in and do was get the Packers not 0-3, and he's won them 2 games. Devin, I know you wanted to say something about this game as well, so we'll go off what you have to say.
Yeah, pretty much what Caden said. I think I was gonna if it was in Minnesota, I'd go Minnesota, but with it being in Lambeau, I think that's a huge difference. And then of course Malik Willis has played good, so I think they're going to continue. Earlier when me and you were talking, I really thought Green Bay would really push Love to come back, but I think with the last 2 weeks they've schemed the offense to be around Malik Willis, and I think it's working perfectly right now. How much they put up, what, like 30, 35 last week? So I think they continue with that, and then, like, I agree, get Love healthy, bring him back week 5, week 6, and continue on from there.
Yeah, I completely agree. So then we're gonna go to the Steelers and Colts. Honestly, I picked the Colts only because one, it's at home, Lucas Oil. They're a different team at Lucas Oil. Two, I'm still just not a believer in the Steelers. I don't know what it is. I mean, Anthony Richardson is probably going to have a nightmare matchup against that Steelers defense. But at the same time, I don't know. I don't believe in the Steelers. I still don't. And even when they're 4-0 after this week, probably, I still won't believe in them. Dillon, this was like the most expected thing out of you ever, but let's hear why you picked the Colts.
I mean, I picked them to win the division. I got to keep riding with them, right? I mean, I think I have more stock in Anthony Richardson than anyone we've ever met, so that doesn't help either. So, um, for a game like this, I mean, Jonathan Taylor played really, really good last game. Like, I get that the Steelers have a good defense, but I don't know. I think that Jonathan Taylor, if he gets loose in this game, like, he might open some things up for Anthony Richardson as long as it's not from 5 to 20 yards. As long as it's anything further than that, he's going to hit some deep bombs. But if it's anything between that, I don't really trust his mid-range game right now.
I don't trust any of his game. He's, you mentioned him as the GOAT, and I think you meant grossest of all time because that guy's ass.
He's played like 8 NFL games. Come on, man.
Yeah, but
Here's the
Have
thing.
you
I'm gonna
seen
say that
his
all
freaking
year. Like it's gonna
accuracy?
be.
He can't hit no one. Literally, his deep balls are all luck. He just freaking throws it up there.
Okay.
He
The
might as well
hate
put
is
his helmet on
crazy.
backwards because that he'd be about the same accuracy.
I think one reason why I'm always really high on him is because I haven't watched a full Colts game start to finish this year. In the summer, I was watching all his highlights from last year, and now I watch Red Zone every Sunday. So like, oh, this guy's the greatest of all time. He's thrown
Well,
blocked
there's
touchdown.
your number
Oh,
one
he just
reason.
ran in a touchdown. And they
People-
don't as often show his interceptions, which is it is what it is. I still think he's great. He's gonna be just fine. I'm not changing my opinion on him. What's up, Mekel?
All
There
right,
goes
well,
guy.
Mekel has joined. First appearance for Mekel Sanchez on this. Okay,
What's up?
we're just going to go back to the Vikings and Packers game real quick because I know you are very opinionated on this rivalry. So go ahead and say what you have to say on it.
I think it'll be a really good game. Do you guys know if Jordan Love is starting though? That's what I'm curious about.
We just discussed that we hope he's not starting.
He
Me
was
too.
a
I really want to see Malik
a
Willis.
limited participant in practice today.
Okay. Either way, I think it'll be a really good game. I'm really curious. I saw the Packers are favored, right? According to Vegas.
Really?
I thought it was like minus 150 or something, but I still got faith in the Vikings though. They've been dismantling these teams, so I think they can pull it off.
Oh, I hope they don't. But so then I don't know if anyone wants to mention anything about the Steelers. I particularly don't. Wait, Caden, you also said the Colts. So
Yeah, I feel like eventually the Steelers are going to have a letdown game. And it is in Indianapolis, correct?
yes, it's at Lucas Oil.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It feels like kind of a toss-up game to me. I don't really love the matchup. Honestly, don't really love either team, even though the Steelers are 3-0. I do think that the Colts offense, even as bad as Anthony Richardson is, and he is very bad, might be able to grind out this game like a 17-16, something like that. Very low scoring and close.
That's how all of the Steelers games have been so far, too. They've just been the Chris Boswell show, just kicking field goals.
The Boz.
Yeah, the Boz on the MozPod. How about that?
Hey, you think we could get that? Think you could fly to Pittsburgh or go to
Right.
Lucas Oil and
True.
get him on the pod.
Might have to do that. I don't think
Papers
anybody's
can't be-
ever asked Chris Boswell to do something like that, so he'd probably say yes. So then Rams and Bears. Let's see. Mekel and Devin, you went Bears, everyone else Rams. Devin, go ahead and before I start absolutely hating on Caleb Williams, actually, I'll give Brady this round for that. But Devin, why'd you pick the Bears?
I think this game is a gross game. I don't think it's going to be good at all. Kind of just a 50-50 coin flip. I mean, I think the Rams last week, they have Matt Stafford. He's going to win them some games without Puka and Cooper. So, but I think Bears defense is, I mean, no, San Fran's defense hasn't been the best. I don't know what's going on over there, but I think the Bears defense is probably good enough to maybe cause a few turnovers and score for the Bears offense because Bears offense can't score to save their life. So
it's going to be like the Tennessee game week 1 where they get a blocked punt return pick six.
Yeah, it's gonna be one of those games. Stafford's probably gonna throw a pick six or something like that, and the rest of the game's just gonna be horrible. It's gonna be like one of those 10-7 games probably.
Bam. Okay, Mekel, why did you pick the Bears in this one?
Yeah, I agree with what he said about the being a trash game. I don't see it being very good. I can go either way. Also figured most of you guys take Rams, so I wanted to be a little different. And I can definitely see this being the game where Caleb Williams, throws like 200 yards, has like 2 touchdowns, and the whole internet just goes crazy. And in the next coming of crisis here. So I don't know, just seemed like right timing for it.
2 touchdowns and obviously 2 picks to go with it because he can't not throw picks in a game. Brady, I've been waiting for this. Please take the floor.
Yeah, I think anybody that's got a Rookie of the Year ticket for Caleb Williams, or as I call him, Caleb, you could pretty much rip that up right now. He's done. He's not gonna make enough plays against a bad Rams defense. At the end of the day, I think quarterbacks aside, this game is probably a coin flip, but Stafford is 10 to 20 times better. So that's why I went with the Rams.
He's not going to make enough plays against a bad Rams defense, and he definitely didn't do anything against a terrible Colts defense last week.
Yeah, he's going to try to do that stupid rollout that he did when he played at USC, get a 15-yard sack or throw a pick. Just kind of what he does.
All right, so then, Dylan, do you know what the next game is on the list? The Eagles, Buccaneers, what I call this?
Yeah, what is it?
It's the Mitchell game. That's what it is. Remember
That
that?
is the
Joe Buck
Mitchell
calling
game.
that? It's the
Yeah.
Mitchell game. So let's see. We're about evenly split on this one. More people are going Buccaneers. I think it'll be a bounce back game for the Bucks. This is probably one of the better games of the week. I don't know. The Bucks looked horrible at home last week against the Broncos. I do think their offensive line is definitely going to have some troubles against people like Jordan Davis and the edge rushers in Philadelphia, but the Eagles just don't look that impressive either. And I think the Buccaneers' run defense is decent. I don't know. Someone can correct me on that. But I know that their run defense is better than their pass defense. And all the Eagles can seem to do right now is run the ball with Saquon or know that Dallas Goedert exists. But he's not
I'm
going
done.
to.
Hook that trailer.
Yeah, he's not going to have a 10 catch, 170-yard game probably ever again. So,
Can
yeah.
I just point out in this game that maybe, just maybe, Tampa has an advantage here because this is the hurricane game. They got a hurricane that's hitting them right now, and that could just be an advantage for Baker. Wind behind him, he's not throwing it 50-yard Hail Mary. He's throwing 75.
That's true. It seems like any of those teams that have to deal with hurricanes come out and ball out after. So hopefully that thing's not landing by Sunday. I don't check the news, so I don't know what's happening with it.
The weather, but yes.
I
What
only
the-
news when there's a presidential debate on.
What did you say?
I said I only tune into the news when there's a presidential debate on.
Don't we all? Kobe, why'd you pick the Eagles in this one?
My hope is AJ Brown comes back. I don't think Smith's going to play. Those concussions just look too bad. But, I think we ride or die with Saquon. And if AJ Brown's in there, I think they'll find a way to get her done. Baker looked hot to start the season, but they had no answer last week at all. And their run game, I've seen Bucky Hervin got hurt in practice today, is questionable for the game, and Shad White cannot run the ball. So, Mike Evans has disappeared the last 2 weeks. It's been the Chris Godwin show. So I think he put a little pressure on Baker, and, I think we be a close game, but I think we get a dub.
How's that make you feel on your fantasy team with Mike Evans not doing anything and Chris Godwin just carrying the load?
My hope is Mike Evans will prevail because Baker loves himself some Mike Evans, and let's air it out and just find Mike Evans in the end zone. But fantasy versus real life, can't depend on it.
It's a fair point. All right, so then the next game, everybody went one way. I think Nelson intentionally chose the 49ers because he knew everyone else would, so that the Patriots would win. Because, like I said, that's how that works. Brady, you didn't pick your Patriots. Why not?
I could see this being Jacoby's last game as a starter in New England. Schedule gets a little bit lighter after this week, and whether that's by benching or by injury, I think moving forward they go with Drake May.
What are your thoughts on Drake May, Nelson?
Do you like him better than Jacoby Brissett?
You even
Yes.
want that because Jacoby Brissett, when he signed, they had to know, hey, listen, buddy, it's gonna be rough. You're gonna put through hell. You're probably gonna die a few times on the field behind that O-line, but the check will still cash on Wednesday. It's the worst O-line in the league. I wouldn't want a rookie QB behind that O-line.
Hey, can we get that on a T-shirt? Cash will check on.
Cash the check on Wednesday.
I like that.
Well, okay. My question is, do you really think that Drake May would have went and beat Cincinnati week 1 as well?
No.
I don't think Jacoby single-handedly did much in that game. There was that one that gave him a short field. The only thing he didn't do was not turn the ball over.
Yeah, it was more about what Joe Burrow didn't do.
Yeah. There's more athleticism in
Man,
that.
a quarterback that doesn't throw any picks or turn the ball over compared to a rookie quarterback being his first start against the Bengals defense, having Trey Hendrickson in his face all the time.
Yeah,
Kobe Brissett knew what he was doing at least.
I was definitely a huge fan of starting Jacoby for a couple weeks. Let that O-line get maybe a little bit better, so they're the 31st best instead of the worst.
Better.
They're a little bit better than they were week 1. So I think May is just more athletic and has a way better arm. He doesn't miss open throws. Plus, they should be getting Bourne back next week, and I think that's
a big one right there.
That'll really unlock a little bit more.
Yeah, Drake May's
hey, when you've got a bunch of bums, it helps.
Drake May also has some of the sloppiest work out of any rookie QB coming out the last 5 years, and no quality offensive coaches on that staff. So I don't know who's fixing that.
Van Pelt from the Browns. He made who was it? Flacco look decent last year.
Flacco is elite.
Product. He's like 40.
Flacco is not elite. I will die.
Flacco's won a Super Bowl.
Flacco got carried to that Super Bowl, and everyone knows that.
He is teaching old dog new tricks with a footwork.
Greatest playoff.
He's doing great work with Deshaun Watson right now. That's for sure.
Well, yeah, he's not there.
The last couple of years he was on and off the field.
Okay, I don't know why we just spent so much time on that Patriots 49ers game when we all know what the result's going to be. Okay, so that'll lead us into an actual decent, what should be a decent game. We're almost evenly split on this one. We got one more person going on the Cardinals. I'm going the Cardinals just because they're hard to beat at home. I think this is going to be a super high scoring game. I wouldn't be surprised if the Commanders win it, but at the same time, I feel like the Commanders just are on that high from Monday. They'll come in Sunday, have a little hangover on that one, and just not play to their full potential. And I think the Cardinals, they're, like I said, they're at home and they're a hard team to beat in Glendale. So, Dillon, you pick the Commanders.
Yeah, I mean, I just liked what I saw out of Daniels. He's been playmaking. I kind of thought that picking this that there wouldn't be as many people who picked the Commanders. But I mean, yeah, he's looked really good. Their defense isn't anything special, but Cardinals are gonna have to prove to me again that the first week or two weren't flukes, and that Kyler Murray can be more consistent, that their defense can actually show up as well. So I'm riding with the Manders for it.
I will say the people who picked Rookie of the Year for Jaden Daniels were me, Dillon, Devin, and Chris. So that's a little side note there, a little side nugget. Let's see.
Yeah, I picked Marvin Harrison.
Yeah, there you go, Caden. All right, you also picked the Cardinals, so
I think I did as well.
Caden, what do you think about the Cardinals this week?
Yeah, Commanders coming off a short week. Jaden Daniels riding a high. Not much to say about this game really. I was forced to pick a team because it was on the schedule.
The great cop out.
So you sound like Marshawn Lynch. I'm just here so I won't get fined.
Facts.
Yeah, which is probably half of the Cardinals rosters as well. But
does anybody else have anything to add that they want to add into this game?
Yeah, I mean, I trust Washington just by as much trust the politicians in that same city. Like, just don't. Jaden Daniels is about all he got there. So the game's on him.
Oh, that's a fair point. Yeah, you got Dillon's favorite running back, Austin Eckler.
Concussion, not playing.
Oh, is he not playing? Is he out?
Brian, I got that fantasy notification today.
Brian Robinson.
Yeah, I didn't know his wife was like some TikTok star either. I saw her pop up on the feed and I was like, oh. Hello.
Over under on Caden talking about NFL players' wives on each episode. The line's gonna have to be at 1.5 at this point.
Yeah, dude. Prize Pictures bumped you. Sorry, man.
And honestly, Austin Eckler's wife isn't like she's nothing special, but
She's not Julie Cousins.
all right.
All right.
That's crazy.
All right, move it.
Talking about
She's not
NFL
Jordan
wives.
Poyer's wife, that's for sure.
Talking about NFL wives, we got Brittany Mahomes and Taylor
Oh,
Swift.
God.
Bro, makes me want to throw up every single time, dude. I
Okay,
can't watch a Chiefs game.
Dillon, since you are the closet Chiefs fan, let's hear what you have.
No.
Let's hear
What?
to say about this one.
Crazy. I mean, I picked him. I don't even know if Herbert's playing in this game. I thought it was obvious to pick the Chiefs in this, but yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about it. I mean, if Herbert plays, I still don't know if they win this game because he's been hobbled and they just haven't looked the best so far. So
Chiefs got the refs too, so it's not 3 points there.
yeah,
Pretty sure the league did them a solid too by suspending Derwin James for this game too.
Yep.
Else could have his first semi-decent game of the year.
That's true, but my thing is with this game, for some reason, I don't know, these AFC West matchups, it seems like the Chargers can always beat them once in a year, which why not beat them at SoFi, you know? But the thing is, if Herbert plays, cool, they have a better chance of winning. But I think we're forgetting who their backup quarterback is. It's Taylor Heineke. 2022 Taylor Heineke could show out this week. Do you guys remember how he played against Tom Brady in the playoffs? He almost beat Tom Brady in the playoffs. Now he's going to go and play Patrick Mahomes if he does play out. He's going to go and play Patrick Mahomes and the refs and Roger Goodell and whoever else Chiefs sideline.
Yeah.
You think we got another insanity run?
Yeah, he might have another Taylor Heineke and Linsanity run. I mean, that's even if he plays, but I'm thinking they have a better chance with having a backup quarterback of that caliber than like Easton Stick, like they did have. NDSU shout out. But yeah, I don't know. For some reason, just on the Chargers this game, which I'm sure I'm going to be wrong because the NFL just loves their Chiefs and they'll bail them out of any game. But at the same time, I have not been impressed with the Chiefs this season. One, because I hate them. Two, every single game of theirs has been won by one possession. And the last 2 games, actually, no. The last 3 games, every single one of them had a bullshit ending. So they have not impressed me. You know, Isaiah Likely, he has a half shoe size too big. He doesn't get in the end zone. And then, which there was, 20 illegal formations called in that game to begin with on the Ravens offense. That was ridiculous. Week 2, you got the PI heard around the world, whatever. Go ahead and call that. That's fine. But then the next week, they don't call the same exact PI on the Chiefs against Kyle Pitts, which the Falcons easily would have won that game. So I don't know. I'm just not very big on the Chiefs. I think the Chargers have a good chance of winning this if Herbert plays or if he doesn't play. Because like I said, they got Taylor Heineke. Does anybody else have anything to say about the Chiefs?
for each field goal that Harrison Butker misses, another Democrat is elected. Oh God, all that stuff is so funny, man. Like,
I will say, I bet
about like they can't decide. Like Taylor Swift fans, like we're gonna watch the game and cheer for her, but then we gotta cheer for Butker to make a field goal. Like it's just hilarious.
I will say, I bet Tampon Tim is a big Chiefs fan. Tim Walls, that is, not our greatest host. I'm talking about Tim Walls.
Yeah.
That was actually fair clarification there.
Yeah, see that shit? He wants to put tampons in the male bathrooms.
Tim, how do you feel about him as a Minnesota sports fan?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
What a fucker.
Sorry.
Caden, my mom's gonna watch that and love that shout out and that nickname that you just gave Tim Walls. Oh my God.
Well, I heard it from somewhere. I didn't come up with it, but it's fitting.
It's fitting.
Okay. So then also, do we know if not Chris Collinsworth, do we know if Tony Romo is on the call for that game?
Probably.
I'm guessing he is because it looks like that's going to be the late CBS game. Oh God.
A lot of glazing.
Lots of glazing towards Patrick Mahomes. Great.
Look at the way he gets out of bounds here.
That was a little Mahomey. Thank God it's not Sunday Night Football though with Chris Collinsworth. But
Bro, sounds like he's climaxing.
but then we got the Browns and Raiders. This is going to be a disgusting game in my opinion, but I'm going the Raiders just because the Browns have not shown me anything, and I'm probably going to keep continuing to pick against the Browns until they start Jameis Winston at quarterback.
I agree. I would love to see that.
So Kobe, let's hear you bounce off that since you picked the Browns.
You know, I think it was week 2. I called for Jameis Winston to come into the game. Let's see it in week 4 because, you know, Deshaun Watson has yet to show us anything. At least they finally got Amari Cooper involved, but I mean, you got some decent weapons with Jerry Jeudy and Amari Cooper. The backfield's kind of a mess, but this is a winnable game. I mean, it's Gardner Minshew and the Raiders. The Raiders are not very good. And your defense, just help them out. Move the ball a little bit because that defense should be good.
They're coming off a very embarrassing loss, so don't you think that's going to fire them up a little bit?
You're probably not wrong, and you know Antonio Pierce, he can lead that team to victories. But I think I'm going to ride with my Brownies here.
Let's see. Mekel, you want Raiders. Let's hear what you got to say on that
Yeah,
one.
you know, go Raiders, Holmes. I'm Latino, so I gotta pick them. It's just the rule. I don't know. They're both shit teams. It's going fucking shit fest is all that is it there. I got Devontae on my fantasy team. Really just pulling for him. It's about all I got going for that.
Honestly, same. And then in another league, I have Zamir White and Alexander Madison. So guess the record of that team.
Has Zamir White
Boise
even
State action
scored
there?
double digits this year?
No, he scored below 7 points in every single
No.
game. I
I
just
was
saw
going
it.
to say, I didn't think he's done anything.
Worst running back duo in the league.
Devin, you also said Cleveland in this one.
Yeah, it's a pretty gross game. I don't know. They're both coming off horrible losses, the Giants and the Panthers. So I don't know. This is kind of a coin flip as well. Browns defense hasn't been as good, but I think that there'll be too much for Raiders. But I guess we'll see. It's just a really gross game, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. So going off of a gross game to what probably should be the best game of the week. Sunday Night Football, we got Buffalo heading into Baltimore, and that's going to be the reason why I picked Baltimore because it's in Baltimore. If it was in Buffalo, I'd pick Bills. But the Bills' run D didn't look that good against Travis Etienne last week. A lot of his bigger runs got called back because of holding and stuff. So I think Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson both could potentially have a field day against the Bills. At the same time, the Bills are just too good of a team. A lot of people didn't expect them to be. And I did see Josh Allen is 2-0 in his career against Baltimore. So there's a very good chance the Bills do win this. But I'm going to ride with the Ravens on this one. Let's see. Caden, you're also going Ravens.
Yeah, like you said, in Baltimore, I think the Ravens find a little momentum after that win last week against Dallas. Hopefully they keep giving Derrick Henry the ball just to control the clock with Derrick Henry and Lamar, run the ball a good amount of times, and find a way to win a tough one at home and keep kind of riding the wave. Win like this could really propel their season, so I think they'll understand that and be focused.
Devin, I know that you were the Bills were your letdown pick, and they are currently 3-0. So
Yeah, they're surprising me. I went with them this week because Baltimore's defense kind of almost collapsed and lost that game at the end. They give up almost like basically 25 points in that fourth quarter against Dallas. And I think that the way Josh Allen plays football, I think he's going to tear the Baltimore defense up. I think it'll be close, but I think Buffalo probably wins by 7 or 10, honestly. I think Josh Allen's going to tear up the Baltimore defense.
Has Josh Allen thrown a pick yet? I know he had a fumble week 1, but has he thrown a pick?
Thought he said one, but don't quote me on that.
He might have had
No.
one in week 1, but I know the last 2 weeks he has not.
He hasn't thrown a pick yet this year.
Wow.
Really?
Josh Allen, I mean, get Stephon Diggs out of there and he becomes a way more accurate quarterback, I guess.
Locker room cancer.
Brady, you haven't said anything in a while, so we'll see what you have to say about Buffalo.
I just think they're the better team. They're playing real hot right now, and they're always really good in September. I also haven't been impressed at all with the Ravens defense. That's about all I got.
All right, Mekel, you went Baltimore as well.
Yeah, I can't disagree with anything about Buffalo. They are 3-0. They're hot. They're rolling right now. I don't know. I just see Lamar as a game changer. Games in Baltimore. After last week, they were steamrolling with Henry and Lamar there. So I don't know. I honestly see it coming down with the last drive, the last minute. There'll be one play to determine it all. So it can go either way, but I'm just going with Baltimore on this one.
And then Dillon, you're the deciding factor on this, I guess, since you're the only other one in here. You also went with Buffalo.
Yeah, just based off what Josh Allen's been playing lately. James Cook, he's been very, very involved this year, and he's been killing it. And honestly, it doesn't really matter who Josh Allen throws it to. He's making everyone around him better. And to be honest, like some of these guys haven't even had great years for his like receivers. Like Kincaid's been whatever for some of it, and he's still been able to make it work. Especially using his legs, like broken play. He's making plays like how many he have 2 rushing touchdowns week 1? Like, I don't know. He's making it work in the air and on the ground. So
Speaking of making it work in the air, how about Khalil Shakir? Shout out to Mekel there. Boise.
Oh, yeah. Boise State.
Yeah.
I think Josh Allen's played better without Diggs because besides Diggs, I mean, the ball's either going to Diggs or it was going to be a bomb to Gabe Davis last year. So I think if you don't have a star guy on that receiver room, they're like just pass the ball to anybody, and anybody's going to catch the ball for him. So
who's
Yeah,
the
you
other
don't get somebody
team that
yapping your
works
fucking
with?
ear replay. That's huge.
Who's the other team that works with? The Packers, which they have a bunch of wide receiver 2s on that team, but I'm okay with that because it's proven that it works. Let's see. We go from Sunday Night Football to 2 Monday Night Football games again, possibly the most disgusting game imaginable.
Tim, I did hear we might get a Tyler Huntley start this week, so you know what I might do.
Really? What's the
Yes.
sources on that?
I just
You
think
speaking because you hate Will Levis?
now McDaniel came out and said that Tyler Huntley is like there's a good chance he starts Sunday in his press conference today.
Oh, really?
yes, I did hear that, and Will Levis, ass. That's all. Like, there's just no way around it. He's ass, and Tyler Huntley is not a terrible player. Get the ball in Tyreek Hill's hands, Waddle's hands, and let him work. Or A-Chain. Get it. I mean, they have so many options.
I don't understand how they're not just giving it to Achan every single play.
Yeah, like he's literally so good, and they could move the ball so easy.
And is Mostert still out?
He has a chance. He's probable this week.
Okay, I was going to say, because if you have Mostert back, why not run it with Achan and then run with Mostert, dump off to Tyreek, throw a deep.
I mean, how many of those guys are the 4-2, 4-3 guys? Get them the ball.
Well, Mostert's probably got like fucking like daycare duty or something. I mean, he's like 32. He probably has like 14.
Kind of old, but kind of wish I still had Riggs Preeb on snap because I have not said anything since week 1 to him about the Dolphins and how terrible they are, which is why I'm picking against them this week. Although if Tyler Huntley's starting, that kind of makes me want to pick the Dolphins, but I think this is the week that the Titans finally do it. Will Levis might not have a meme made against him this week, finally, but probably not. That's probably just something that happens every week. Dillon, you also went Titans. I know you love Will Levis as well.
I don't know if I've ever in my life said Will Levis's name out loud to any of you guys, so I don't know where this is coming. Will Levis is a walking meme. He just finds new ways to turn the ball over. I
I know
don't
you
think he's
said it.
very good at football. I just think that the Dolphins are in a worse position right now.
Yeah, I will say, Dylan, I remember the day where like the odds changed to Will Levis being like the second overall pick taken off the board and the Vikings like trading up to get him. And I remember Dylan snapping me and saying, "What? Have you heard about this? Is this guy any good? I don't like this guy. I would hate this move for the Vikings. What do you think?" So to defend Dylan, I'm pretty sure he has been a Will Levis hater since before the draft.
Probably, I'm sure if I asked you that, it's because you were at the time signed on a contract to be a Kentucky fan. So
I was gonna say, I know Caden's seen him play at Kentucky, and Dillon, you might not have said anything about Will Levis, but you've definitely said stuff about Gia Duddy. Anyway,
I've not said anything about her.
anyway,
I've never even pronounced her name.
so Brady, you
Dylan,
went
you perv.
Dolphins in this one.
Crazy. Now I know it's Gia. Okay.
What was that, Tim?
You went with the Dolphins in this one. Why did you go Dolphins?
Oh, yeah, I could see this being like a 10-3, 14-3 with a Tyreek Hill sweep and a Will Levis pick six.
Brady, do you realize that you picked every AFC East team besides your team?
That's because the Patriots are ass.
I did not realize that. No.
Well,
I don't know if I could ever put myself to do that, although I would never pick the Bears. I don't think I have yet.
go Bears.
Good reason to not pick them.
Well, do you like Will Levis or not?
Who?
Nelson, do you like
No.
Will? Okay.
No.
Is there anybody in here
that was a
likes
heat
Will
check.
Levis?
That was a heat
That was
check.
100% a heat check. You had all two.
That was a heat check.
I think Will Levis gets a little bit too disrespected. I don't know. After watching that Packers game, that dude was fighting for his life back there. Like, yes, he does make a lot of stupid decisions, but at the
Yeah,
same
but
time,
I bet his offensive line seen how well he played when they gave him time, and it couldn't be any worse than letting anybody through.
when have they gave him time? That's the real question. He's
I don't
played.
know. He's made a
played
few
the Bears-
throws,
He's
but
played the Bears defense, he's played the Jets defense, and he's played the Packers defense. Those are three solid defenses or three solid pass rushes. And the man has had no time. I mean, yes, he's had the stupid memes and he's looked terrible, but at the same time, he showed flashes against the Packers defense late in that game until he got absolutely clotheslined and fumbled, which brought him into his third meme of the year. But
Flashes of what? Ryan Tannehill?
flashes of
Dude, I
Mark
bet Giants
Sanchez in
fans
the
would love
butt
to have
fumble.
him.
he is the 2024 Mark Sanchez. I will say that. But
Hey, let's put some respect on Mark Sanchez.
Yeah, we
my
have
uncle.
another Sanchez in here, all right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh, let's see. Mekel, you also went Titans.
Yeah, it's gonna be like 7-3. I don't really know. Tua was dead. I don't even know who started the quarterback. You guys mentioned a few names. I don't know which one's gonna be. Maybe it's the game. Will Levis figures it out. Maybe he throws 5 pick sixes. Who fucking knows? I'm just gonna throw my money on the Titans on that one. Just roll the dice.
We
I
spent
will
8.5
say-
minutes too long on that game.
I will say, okay, final thought on this game. I will say Josh Giles did ask if he could choose a tie in this game. And
This would be the
said,
game.
not how
That's
this
a good
works.
note. That's a good note.
That's not how this works. But if Josh Giles does predict a tie in this game, maybe he should spend
Down
more
to 2
time in the
wins.
casino. Yeah, he should spend more time in the casino then. And maybe I will give him 2 wins because he's down in the dumps right now, 24-24 with a 500 record.
Hey, can we get scoregami in this game?
Yeah,
No
that's
one
the
gets
only thing that
scored
this
up
game is good
points.
for is a scoregami.
It's gonna be
2-0.
like 4-2.
I would say we need that 36-23 one. That's the most common one that's supposed to happen, but I don't think these offenses can score that much. So
I don't think these defenses can turn the ball over into touchdowns enough either.
Yeah.
I think they'll pull a Levis before he gets that many pick sixes.
that's a fair point. Speaking of Josh, are any of us surprised that he went with Seattle? He was the only one that did it.
Nope.
Does,
Are you a
any,
Seahawks fan?
does anybody know why he's so high on Seattle still? Oh,
I mean, he was high on Geno Smith before the season, and to be fair, honestly, I would throw Geno up there in the MVP conversation with Josh Allen and Sam Darnold. Geno is fucking carrying that dog shit offensive scheme right now. Their defense is like fine, but that offensive scheme, it's dog shit. Geno's fucking making checks at the line when you watch him, just deciphering. He's like that chemistry professor that their language they're talking like they're so educated on it, and you don't even know what the fuck you're watching, but you know it's just greatness. It's what Geno's doing at the line of scrimmage pre-snap right now.
are we giving Don Weavers a shout out right now?
No, I'm talking like a high level.
High level. Not one that's talking about mold day.
Oh.
Mold Day. Wow, a Mold Day mention on the MozPod. Oh, wow. Did not expect
Nothing
that.
in no one is safe.
Oh, also, Kobe, I need to make this a point that Josh said. He said he's rolling with Seattle because Seattle QB is better than the other one on the other side.
Ain't no way.
Then Jared Goff?
Yep.
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't know. Geno is not him. Geno is not him. Is Jared Goff great? No. No, I will never say Jared Goff is great, but Geno, I can't ever ride with Geno.
I mean, they're probably working with similar weapons, Jared Goff and Geno. You know, like the weapons are probably similar. Jared Goff does have a significantly better offensive line and better play caller.
If you were to swap teams, who do you think's, taking them to the promised land?
Yeah, we might see Seattle in the Super Bowl again.
They're probably about the same, honestly.
If you were to swap Goff for Geno, you would get that Tennessee quarterback starting in Detroit. Geno's the third best quarterback in this game alone.
God, Nelson.
Oh.
Nelson, you can say you don't like Geno without taking it to the extreme of that.
That's not taking it to an extreme.
Third best quarterback in the game alone is crazy, Nelson.
Hooker looked real good in the preseason.
Yeah, you know what kind of defenses they run in the preseason? Pretty much one was out there playing safety.
Isn't Sam Howell in Seattle as well?
Yeah,
I believe so.
Would you say that Sam Howell's better?
No, Sam Howell's ass.
No,
I think Will Levis is better than Sam Howell.
Dylan, we're not talking about the Sam Howell you're thinking of as well.
Tough.
All right, so then that's enough talk about this week.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Geno's my MVP vote right now.
You're high.
Okay, Geno also threw 2 picks against Miami's defense last week.
Fine. Yeah, I was gonna say Zach Charbonnet helped them get a win last week.
He also helped me get a fantasy win against Kobe last week.
Shit, you fuck. He could have damn near beat my team alone. Shit, you could have played like 3 starters and beat my team.
That's facts, though. That's pretty bad because even my bench went off. I mean, I had Singletary on the bench. Who does that? Or who has Singletary on their team in general? But that's going to take us to the best thing that we saw this week. Dylan.
Oh, man. So I will say the best thing I saw this week, Cairo Santos lines up for a kick, misses it, and we get the Colts mascot Blue humping the air like a spat.
Now that's a great.
Yeah, that was the greatest thing I saw this week, and yeah, it just made me laugh, and I had to put in this conversation.
That was great. Yes, I will fully admit that. I know Kobe had something to say as well.
Well, I'd say that Malik Willis performance was pretty solid. If we could have got a Brady Nelson, hot take last week, I would have picked that. But, for next week, it's probably going to be Brady Nelson getting on this pod.
The best thing you saw this week.
Yeah, that's definitely Brady Nelson getting on this pod. Papa Bird.
Papa Bird.
Well, admit I don't think anybody saw the Nelson sighting, the bird sighting in this one. Just today. Caden, you got anything to add, or does anybody else have anything to add?
Best thing I saw this week, I would say probably Joe Burrow getting exposed on national television for top 2 or 3 QB in the league. He's obviously not. Buddy needs to drop the act and focus on football again. That whole team is filled with babies. Joe Burrow is just a baby in general. Jamar Chase is a baby about his contract. Those guys don't love football. They're collecting a paycheck, moving on to the next week. They don't love ball. And then a rookie quarterback to their place, as they call it, the jungle. Obviously, just fuck Joe Burrow. Fuck the Bengals. I honestly like Joe Burrow until Mekel made me realize that, this guy's probably not a top 3 QB in the league. So that was the best thing I saw this week. Throw it to Nelson. What do you got?
Crazy that you think it was his fault they lost when he threw for 325 and 3 touchdowns.
I can't start 0-3 when you have the Commanders and the Patriots on the schedule.
Yeah, Commanders are 2-1, and
and that's it.
Yeah,
They're 3-14 by the end of the year.
To be fair, they got hosed to begin with against Kansas City.
They are 2-1 and leading the NFC East right now.
Reggie.
Tim, can we get what you thought was a great sighting from this week?
I honestly was going to say our fantasy matchup and just my fantasy team almost scoring 200, but I'm not going to go to that route.
It's okay. I waved the white flag. My ass.
Well, boys, here's to get beat by 100.
Shotgun and waving the white flag. I was going to say
stop the ass
San
beat.
Jose State and
let's go to week
Washington
4.
State's like double overtime game. If anybody was up at 1:45 in the morning watching that, because I was.
Let's go, boys.
But that game also made me very salty because I had an 8-leg parlay going on it. And I needed Washington State's running back to score a touchdown, and they put in their backup, and he scored it. It's one of the worst beats of all time. But, yeah, Koby with the shotgun video and waving the white flag after my dismantling of his fantasy team, probably.
I like that take.
Yeah. Devin, what's the best thing you saw?
Tim knows I'm a pretty big dude, but if I took a Derrick Henry stiff arm, I'd probably be concussed for the rest of my life. So seeing him stiff arm somebody like that is crazy, and that tries doesn't kill people on the field. So
he's like a running back of Steve Smith. You guys remember Steve Smith, his stiff arming ability?
I love some Steve Smith.
I know. Just watched a football life of him.
Agent 89.
Yeah. Ice up, son. And he goes and says, I just want to take the life out of somebody. I purposely pile drive some people into the ground, and some other guys I just push right off me. But some guys I just want to see them go lifeless in front of me when I push them into the ground. It's pretty dirty to say something like that.
Poetry.
Yeah. Mekel, what do you got?
I think the Vikings-Texans game, I was not expecting a 34-7 dismantling of that team. Defense looked real, and Sam Darnold didn't shit the bed like Nick Mullins did last year, So can't complain at all.
Can you shit the bed if you've never really had that high of hopes?
I saw him throw a 6-inch interception against the Bengals last year. Like my hopes were here, and he's still, way below that. So
I suppose it's fair enough.
Koby, we'll go to your survivor pick then, since you're the only one in it still.
Ooh, I'm riding or dying,
with Dolphins here.
I'm riding or dying with my Bengals this week,
Really?
Yeah, it's a tough take, but I couldn't pick anybody else. Otherwise, it was just going to screw up my season long. So I'm hoping, Joey B can get his shit together here and at least squeak one out versus the goddamn Panthers.
I don't know. You might be the only team left in this Survivor, but being the guy that's last in the pick'em, I think you should be forced to choose that game between the Titans and Dolphins.
Give me the Dolphins, baby.
He just refuses to go against Will Levis.
Oh, I fucking hate Will Levis with a passion.
All right. Anyone else got anything to add?
Yeah, is that a Ukraine flag behind you?
Oh my God.
That's the second time we've seen this.
Unbelievable. All right. So that's where we're gonna stop after that. So
Best pod yet.
all being on. We'll be back next week once again.